IKIT CLAW, one of the best Skaven characters, right up there with Thankful. He is a cocaine-fueled rat scientist that, just to name a few accomplishments, blew up the fucking moon, almost ending the world right then and there, also killing the most powerful person on the planet, albeit indirectly. I could go on, but I'll talk more about all of these and the rest later on in the video, so no point in listing them all out now. So let's start with IKIT's origins. Not much is known about IKIT's past, only that he was a scryer engineer that rose up quickly through the ranks by creating extraordinarily powerful and innovative weapons. One of these being the Doom Wheel. And Doom Wheels are adorable. They are just motorized hamster wheels with hell cocaine powered guns. Even though we don't know much about his past, we can assume that he was extremely cunning, adaptive, and a very good judge of character. Because you kinda have to be in order to survive the cutthroat nature of the Skaven warlock society, where sneaking into your rival's workshop in the night, slitting their throat and stealing their research papers is an acceptable form of discovery. So we can probably assume that Ika dispatched his fair share of his rivals, either because of them wanting his blueprints or him wanting theirs. After not so long time of climbing through the Skaven R&D department, he got noticed by none other than Morskitar, leader of Clan Scryer. Now, getting noticed by a Skaven so high up is usually not a good thing, because they probably consider you a threat to their power and position. So, in most circumstances, the noticed Skaven is probably gonna receive a haircut at the neck level. But Morskitar was a good judge of character as well, and he pretty quickly figured out that IKIT was more interested in creating new things than being a politician. So Morskitar spared him and hired him, whilst giving him the vast quantities of funds to continue his drug-fueled R&D adventures. Now given millions, IKIT decided to become Mr. Worldwide, traveling all across both the old and the new world, all in hope to find the best weapons and technology, so that he can either get inspired by it or copy it. Also, through his wild journeys throughout the world, he became an astute student of magic. How did he manage to teach himself how to use magic? Well, let's just say if you were a captured wizard, you could either teach him your spells and give him your books, or get sent to the flaying device. Although the way in which he practiced magic wasn't very magic-like, it was much more scientific. He would test what each spell did and how different kinds of spell combinations mixed with each other, which gave him a great deal of knowledge of how warp and magic worked in the setting. Now let's talk about his drip and how he got that cool armor. In one of his many experiments, IKIT was mixing very flammable and explosive chemical compounds together. Now, IKIT, though being smart, is still a Skaven, so just like every other Skaven, he had full conviction that he was infallible, and that he couldn't make any mistakes. But make a mistake he did. Chemicals combined and exploded, sending his left arm flying at the wall at the speed of sound. His face didn't fare any better, it started burning his flesh and fur down to the bone. IKIT survived this and undoubtedly blamed it on the incompetent underlings. Because, you know, it couldn't be because he was mixing hellrock with gunpowder. Don't be ridiculous. IKIT, quickly realizing that being a disabled rat in Skaven society is a quick way to find yourself 6 feet under, decided to make himself a suit of armor alongside a claw that can shoot warp fire. You know, the thing that blew up his arm in the first place. I guess he likes irony. So what did he do after this? Well, for that you gotta understand what was happening in Skaven society at this time. Clan Pestilence, emboldened by the success of Black Death, decided to try a similar thing again, only now with Red Pox. Their mistake was trying this on the Bretonnians, because Bretonnians don't give a shit about their population, they just burned anyone that was infected, and after that killed any Pestilence armies in their territory, which greatly weaken the clan Pestilence. So as you already know, Skaven society is extremely cutthroat. So when other clans heard of the weakening of clan Pestilence, they decided to jump them, giving Pestilence the choice of either surrendering their power and the seats on the council or annihilation. Now, a funny thing about Skaven society built on backstabbing is that once backstabbing becomes an expectation, it no longer becomes a surprise. Pestilence already knew that the council hated them due to all the shenanigans that they pulled during the first Great Skaven Civil War, so they came prepared with an army and began fighting other clans in the streets of Skavenblight. Morskitar expected this and ordered IKIT to prepare a Scryer army for war and to wait until both sides were exhausted, and to then launch an attack, which IKIT did, slaughtering both council and Pestilence forces, shattering a thin veil of unity that the council had in the process. Now it was a free-for-all. All clans fought each other until Grey Seers decided to stop the madness and ordered everyone to go to Skavenblight for an annual Vermintide festival, where Grey Seers planned to summon their god, the Great Horned Rat, on the mortal plane to tell them what to do. Almost every single clan went, and those who didn't encountered, let's just say, interesting fates courtesy of the Horned One. At festival, Great Horned Rat manifested and told his children to stop bickering and conquer the fucking world already. With those wise words, Skaven unified and started their conquest. IKIT for his part continued producing weapons, two of which stood out. One of them being a nuke that he hid under a dwarven fortress that unfortunately got deactivated by the dwarves, and another being a space gun. You see, Grey Seers were pulling the moon, made out of warpstone aka hell cocaine, closer to the earth, which if successful would undoubtedly empower them, as well as weakening forces of order through mutations. But more importantly, this would give them a great deal of power on the council, so of course it could not be allowed to happen. So he just decided to blow it up with a space cannon that launched nukes. The idea was twofold. One, because moon is made out of warpstone, when blown up it's gonna send those fragments to the earth, where IKIT can collect them and become even more rich. And two, it's gonna make the Grey Seers look like clowns. But when IKIT blew it up, there weren't many small chunks crashing down, but rather a one big one, which made everyone on the planet, including the fucking demons, have an oh shit moment. The only thing preventing the world from ending then and there was a fat frog that had to sacrifice himself in order to save the world. The only other notable thing that he did was blowing up the Nagash's Black Pyramid, basically stopping him from becoming the god with the capital G. In Age of Sigmar there are no official news about him, but come on, there is an ancient warlock engineer called IKIT. Games Workshop just doesn't want to confirm that he's in the setting, unless this IKIT business is just the Cetra situation but for Skaven. Okay, if you like this video, smash like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.